Yes, just 1 second. Sorry about that. Oh, hello everyone. Thanks for coming by. I'm the first speaker here. Yes, as Jacqueline mentioned, I mostly work in the front end realm, but for the most part, I build a lot of apps on the side as a side hustle and realized I suck at design. And I think a lot of developers out there will understand that sentiment. And that's why today I would like to introduce how you can streamline your UI development using generative AI. But don't worry, for all those front-end devs out there, it ain't Skynet yet. It ain't taking your jobs yet. My name is Forrest Park, and I'm definitely not a robot yet. So if you go back to our times when we were in high school or maybe even college, and you had to write an essay, let's say about Shakespeare or whatnot, do you remember having to look at this blank page in front of you? Yes, back in the day, I'd write it on paper and just think, oh, I have no idea what I want to write. I have 1,500 words. I have 2,000 words to write. I have 4 hours to the deadline. And I don't know what to write. And you're just thinking to yourself, damn, I just need that first sentence. If I just had that first sentence, I could really finish this essay really quickly. Now, if you're similarly in the software developing world, you would probably be familiar to screens like such as this. If you're using React, you'd see the screen similar to Vue or Angular. Basically, a framework starting uh, page where it gives you basic counters and whatnot. And you probably thought about the same thing. Damn, I have the idea. I know the internals of how to build that next Facebook. I just don't know how to design it. I just need that first line, that first sentence. Because we all know oftentimes it's more difficult to go from 0 to 1 than to scale from 1 to 10. And that's why today I just want to help you to get to 1. That's all I want to help you to do. It's not giant steps, but it's a start. And the service I would like to introduce you to is called v0.dev. It's just v0.dev because it builds you the version 0, and you can iterate from there. The kind of example app we'll try to build using this V0 AI service is a nutritional app. And I was talking to my friend just last week, and he was mentioning, oh, I want to build this, nutritional app that will help people, track their nutrition and whatnot. Of course, I said, don't do it because there's 2 million apps that do it. But I entertained the idea and said, hey, let's just throw some ideas around. And I went over to V0 and let's see what happened. Now, if you go to v0.dev, you'll see this page right here. It's very simple. I would say it's very similar to most generative AI solutions out there. Of course, you have to log in and whatnot, but we'll skip that. You can also you can prompt the AI with like the sentences you want, the prompt you want, but you could also give it like a wireframe or an image here. You can upload an image and it will generate something similar for you. But today I'm just going to add a prompt that I have ready here. I'll just add it to the chat as well. Give me a nutritional app for end users where they can see recipes prescribed by the nutritionist, next appointments, monitoring weight loss, calorie consumption, and other things related. Be creative. Let's press enter right there. See what it gives us. Now, I mentioned before that don't worry about your front-end jobs yet, and you might be able to see the results here. It's not going to give you like a perfect iteration from the get-go. Like most AI services are quite similar in that sense. If it doesn't give you a perfect example, you could always reprompt it. And I'll give you an example of how to do that today here. It is generating a little slow. Oh, no, it's actually just finished right now. So that took us what? Less than 30 seconds? Hey, and yes, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now, if you're an experienced front-end developer, you would probably look at this as like, give me at least half a day. And you got that in 30 seconds. Now, what I want to do here is also use the iteration tool. It gives you 3 different versions of the app. Not the app, but the prompt you gave you. You basically go through the 3 selections and select what you think is the best. And then you say, okay, you add more context. I want calorie tracking in a graph. And then it uses the previous version and then adds more context to it. So, oops, here's the prompt. I just added the prompt here to the chat. I accidentally sent it privately. And of course, you could do more iterations. So I asked for calorie tracking in a graph form. So it gave me a graph. It tracks it by month, but you could also track it by day by adding more context. Due to some time constraints, I won't do that here, but I will give you the actual URL to this generation here, so you can go and play with it if you want to. So you may look at this and think, okay, cool, we have like a Figma essentially, right? And you still have to go into the code, into your code editor and actually edit it. But this is why V0 is so awesome. If you look at the upper right side, hey, here's all the code. You can literally copy it, or even better, it gives you the npx command on how to add it straight into your project. Right now, it only works for React, but I do believe even just looking at this, you can, looking at the code itself, you can use it for other frameworks as well. The main thing it uses is something called Tailwind. So I have a Next.js project, which is essentially React with a React framework that adds a little few things. I'm just going to paste the npx command here to install the component. Yes, so it's component. So I accidentally pressed enter one more time. So it's going to be, the component is going to be called component, but you can name it to whatever you want. So it installs everything you need in the components folder. And it's kind of named component, but let's call this health component just for the sake of it. It's giving some errors because of TypeScript. It's not perfect, but it works for the most part. So I'm just going to take all of this, delete it, and import the component, health component, and save. Okay. I use the server mode, so use client. This should probably work. So that took us a total of, let's say, 6 minutes to build this UI. Now, if you're a front-end developer or a UI developer, you would understand how annoying it is to build mobile responsive apps. And here we go. I hate this. It's mobile responsive by default. So this isn't perfect. You still have to change some of the settings here because it's overflowing and whatnot, but it's a great start. It took us, what, 5-6 minutes to build all this UI for us. Honestly, if you launch the app in this state, it'll be good enough. So today, I would like you all to try V0 to build something. And hey, maybe you're just a week away from your next $1 million app. And hopefully this reduces a lot of your mental fatigue on thinking about design, so you can use that time to think about how to deliver value to your customer. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Forrest. I'm trying to figure out, I can clap. Oh, there we go. I can clap. There we go. Hey, I'm clapping. That was awesome. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about v0.dev or how Forrest is using it? Have a few minutes for them.
Is there any option to choose what tech stack you want this to come out as? Because it looked like this specifically came out using, uh, this is using Next.js. And what are those interface components that it's using?
So Next.js is basically a framework built on top of React, but
Hmm.
the underlying framework is React itself. Now, the difference is if you look at the code more closely, it actually gives you some pre-built components. This is built on top of a UI library called shadcn UI. Just one second, sorry. Shadcn UI. It's a component library that I would dare say in the web dev world, this is basically a standard at this point. It's just so well built and thought out. Um, it just works. Oh,
Sure.
this is an accordion, but
But if
that's
I
the
wanted
URL.
it, if I wanted in like Material UI, for example,
Uh,
is there like, can you choose?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
It is currently built on top of Shad CNUI itself, but one difference is I guess you can't because Material UI uses its own system for CSS. This is built, Shadcn is built on top of Tailwind specifically. So it has to be, if you understand Tailwind, then you could probably reuse it, but not, unfortunately, not Material
Thanks, Forrest. This is awesome. I'm definitely going to give this a try.
UI. Thank you.
Barbosa, you have your hand up. And just before you ask your question, Russ said, "This is really amazing. I didn't know about this. Great information and talk." So, yay. Go ahead, Barbosa.
Thank you. Just a question. I'm not that used to the React. What's that npx command on the command line? It's like a, yeah. Is
Mhm.
it like a npm package that you use and import all the project from the website?
Yes, it's essentially a node package manager system where you install it, but the difference is MPX allows you to install something without installing the library npm library locally. So just it essentially is it calls the like URL directly and just like regardless of if you have it locally installed or not.
All right.
Mhm.
That's so nice.
Mhm.
Good. Thank you for it.
No worries.